He's found a way to win on the biggest stage at every level, and I think he has that ability. And I think being able to take all the experience that I've gained playing with a Rodgers and a Prescott over the years, and being able to give him some of that knowledge that I've been able to receive from those guys and pass that along to him, I think would be beneficial to him.
Mark Berman.
Hey, Randall, a couple questions. One, you're wearing glasses. I saw where you tweeted the other day that it's the first time you've worn glasses and how much a difference it's made for you. What made you choose to go that route? Will you wear something like that during games, contacts, what have you? And secondly, was it a difficult decision for you to decide to go ahead and play this year?
Yeah. So first question. I've had contacts the past couple of years. I haven't had my prescription changed in 2 years. So when I went, my eyes have drastically went in the wrong direction. So it was time for me to get glasses and to change my contact prescription. So my wife been hounding me about that since I've been squinting at the TV. So it was time to make that adjustment. And yeah, I mean, obviously with everything that's going on with COVID, it definitely has been an interesting time. And I didn't take this decision lightly. I have 2 young children at home. We spend a lot of time around our family. My wife's parents are, above 65. So we understand the risk that we are faced with if they were to visit. So it was a decision that definitely weighed heavily on me. And I felt in this time I'm comfortable. Hopefully I stay comfortable. But I try to make a decision and continue to move forward and do everything that I can to keep myself and my family safe.
Brandon Scott, go ahead.
Randall, what have you been able to learn more about the role of the slot receiver, particularly in this offense? And could you explain to us the importance of that role for both the offense and specifically a quarterback like Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing in this offense is the decisive decision making. And I feel really comfortable with everything that's been thrown my way so far as what's being asked of me and what's expected of me. So I'm just trying to continue to get comfortable. Obviously, we haven't had the opportunity to build the chemistry I would like to over the offseason, given we've only had a few days to work together. So that's going to take time. That's not something that happens overnight. And obviously, we're pressed for time with the situation that we're in right now. But we're talking through everything, and I think that's a big part. It's communication and him being comfortable and trusting in me knowing that I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there.
Aaron Wilson.
Good morning. What did you make of the latest language? I know you were one of the players on social media that was hoping for more answers and clarity regarding the rules and in regards to opt-outs, and also they had an amendment about high-risk behavior away from the facility. Just your thoughts on the amendments and also the shared responsibilities with players, coaches, staff to what they do when they're not in the facility, sort of not being in the virtual bubble, but being out and about and facing all those decisions to try to stay as safe as possible.
Yeah, I think the language was something that we were all pressed for to have an understanding of, to hear. There was a time period of about 2 months that we had no clue what any of the language was going to be. There wasn't any talks. There wasn't anything set in concrete of guys having an option. And I think that's all people were looking for, the option to know what would happen if you chose X or Y. So I think, obviously as time went along, as we got closer to the report date, some of those things, some of those questions were starting to become a reality and understanding what was going to happen. So I think in those moments, you got a lot of clarity, And it's still a work in progress. Obviously a lot of things have been set in stone, and some of the language has been agreed upon, but I feel like it's ever changing, given the landscape of what may happen, what could happen. So far we've been good with test results, but what happens, when 20 plus guys get it on one team? Those things we haven't crossed that bridge yet, but hopefully we won't. But if we do, then I'm sure guys will feel a certain way about it, and we'll have to figure out what's the best move from there.
Aaron Reese.
Hey, Randall, you mentioned the need to establish chemistry with Deshaun. I'm wondering where are kind of the biggest gaps between where you were at with Dak this time a year ago following a regular offseason compared to where you are this year right now with Deshaun with the virtual offseason and whatever amount of practice you guys were able to get in away from the facility?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, off-season program, we probably would have thrown 3 or 4 times a week for 6 or 7 weeks. So you're looking about, 25 to 30 opportunities to communicate, to go through routes and timing, and get a sense. He would be able to get a sense for the way that my body moves, and understanding of how I come out of routes, and I would be able to get understanding of his release, his ball placement, and all those things. I think we've had maybe 5 to 7 opportunities to throw to each other so far. So it's just the more you do something, the more repetition you have with someone, the more that chemistry grows. And we're trying to do the best we can given the landscape. But it definitely isn't something that's easy.
Greg Bailey.
Hey, Randall, you mentioned earlier watching Deshaun on tape. What will you offer him in terms of your experience with these other great quarterbacks, and how much do you relish perhaps evolving into a role as a bit of a mentor, not only to him, but for other guys on this team, and the impact you could have with a quarterback in Deshaun that a lot of people think has an unlimited potential?
Definitely. I definitely think he has unlimited potential. I think what we've seen so far of his career is just pure raw talent. I think that he's continuing to grow as far as football knowledge, and you get that from experience. You get that from being put in different situations and scenarios, and understanding when is the time to take those chances and when is the time to, 3rd and long, just dump it down and punt the ball away, and wait for your next possession. It's all a learning curve, and it's all an opportunity to continue to grow. I think it's talking through blitz pickups and understanding the hots and being on the same page with those. It's understanding the coverages and the way certain teams play the coverages, and finding those holes and being able to fill those voids. And I think that I've over the time gotten a pretty good rapport with my quarterback, just being able to talk through those situations, having a little bit of a quarterback in my background myself, and understanding that it's not always about getting open, but getting open at the right time. So, understanding where you are in a progression as a receiver. And that's, some of the things that I want to make sure that I'm letting the young guys in our room know. Obviously, it's a little bit different right now because we're all in different groups, and we really can't meet in the meeting room at the same time right now. But just really understanding the game from a big picture, and not just from our position, and understanding where we fit into the puzzle.
Take 2 or 3 more. Adam Wexler.
Hey, Randall, through the last answer you gave, it's pretty obvious how limited the work's been able to get done. But how would you assess your group? A lot of focus is maybe on what isn't in your wide receiver group anymore, but what do you see? What's your initial scouting report on Will and you and Brandon and Kiki and Kenny and all the weapons that are there? How do you see these players?
We got a lot of weapons. I mean, I think you talk about the ability alone in our group. Hot was a great player. There's no doubt about it. Like he's top three in my eyes, since he's came into the league. But when you look at what Brandon's been able to do in his career, what I've been able to do, what Will's doing, and what Kenny's been able to do, and you take young guys like Kiki and DeAndre Carter, and you put us all in a room together and allow us to help each other and to play off of each other. The best teams that I've been on has had, 3 or 4 guys that you can throw into the game at any moment, and they're able to make plays. And it's not just a team dialing in on one player. They got to figure out a way to cover the whole field. And I think that's kind of what you get when you look at the way that our room is set up right now. When, we have 2 or 3 guys that can take the top off, that defenses have to respect their speed over the top. And then we have guys that can make plays underneath. You get the ball in their hands. And, I pride myself in being able to make plays once the ball's in my hands. So I think that you look at us as a group, we have the potential. It's now putting it together. And like I said, understanding how we fit into the offense and understanding our roles in the offense and meshing together and playing for one another. And those are cliche statements, but it means a lot whenever, it's your job to get somebody else open on a certain play. It's not always going to be about you making the plays. It's about helping your brothers make plays as well.
Okay, John, close us out.
Randall, according to Pro Football Focus, Watson was number 2 in the league in throwing the ball beyond 20 yards, and that was with Fuller being out basically for 6 games. You're coming off your career high, 15.1 yards a catch. Considering what you just talked about, the receivers and Watson, do you think you can equal or better that, considering the situation here?
I'm not going to make any predictions on, stats, because I really don't care about stats, honestly. The only stat that matter to me is wins. And if that's what it takes, obviously, I did have a decent year last year in my eyes. But at the end of the day, I was on a team that went 8-8 and we didn't make the playoffs. So what does that matter? I think that we do have guys that can make plays downfield, myself being one of them. And given those opportunities, we have to make those plays, and we have to understand the importance of picking up third downs, the importance of 2-minute drives, the importance of putting points on the board in the red zone. So it comes down to situational football and making sure that we're on top of our jobs in those given scenarios.
Thank you so much, Randall.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate y'all.